The Environmental Protection Agency, also referred to as the EPA, and I'll most likely use the term EPA throughout the presentation. The mission, the purpose of the EPA is to protect personnel, property, and the environment from the effects of hazardous material releases. Now let's go through some regulatory history. 1965, the Solid Waste Disposal Act. 1976, the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, RCRA, and that's going to be 40 CFR parts 260 through 299. So whenever you see the term 40 CFR, that's going to tell you that's some type of EPA regulation. Now if it's 40 CFR parts 260 through 299, that's going to become part of the RCRA Act. In 1984, we have the Hazardous and Solid Waste Amendments to RCRA. So that was an amendment to the original act. Let's talk about the purpose of RCRA. We need to identify hazardous waste. I do a lot of work with clients. I've literally been in hundreds of facilities. We need to understand the materials that we're working with, also byproducts, waste materials. Is this a hazardous waste? We need to have a program that tracks these RCRA wastes from cradle to grave, and you'll hear that very commonly used by hazardous waste professionals. They'll mention cradle to grave. So RCRA regulations apply to generators, transporters, treatment, storage, as well as disposal. RCRA regulations apply to entities must file a notification of hazardous waste activities with federal EPA or state and obtain an EPA ID number. And typically you're going to have someone or multiple people within your facility that are going to assign these duties. Whenever there's any issue about hazardous waste, receiving hazardous waste or shipping hazardous waste, they're going to have responsibility to make sure that there are proper EPA ID numbers on all these waste manifests. So with RCRA, we have listed hazardous waste, and we'll go through some examples of a specific material. We could think of something like mercury that is a listed hazardous waste. We also have characteristic hazardous waste. Maybe it's a combination of different materials, and characteristically it's a hazardous waste. Process knowledge, mixture rule, derive from rule, contain in rule, for example, a sorbent.